Just a song at twilight, when the lights are low, and the flickering shadows softly come and go. Though the heart be weary, sad the day and long, still to us at twilight comes love's old song.
Dashel Haleseamus, Dashel Haleseamus, Dashel Haleseamus. Send us bright one, light one, horhorn quickening and womb fruit. Send us bright one, light one, horhorn quickening and womb fruit. Send us bright one, light one, horhorn quickening and womb fruit. Hoopsa boy a boy, hoopsa, hoopsa boy a boy, hoopsa, hoopsa boy a boy, hoopsa. Universally, that person's acumen is esteemed very little perceptive concerning whatsoever matters are being held as most profitably by mortals with sapience endowed, to be studied who is ignorant of that which the most in doctrine erudite, and certainly by reason of that in them high mind's ornament, deserving of veneration, constantly maintain, when by general consent they affirm that, other circumstances being equal, by no exterior splendor is the prosperity of a nation more efficaciously asserted than by the measure of how far forward may have progressed the tribute of its solicitude for that proliferant continuance, which of evils the original, if it be absent, when fortunately present, constitutes the certain sign of omnipotent nature's incorrupted benefaction. For who is there who anything of some significance has apprehended, but is conscious that that exterior splendor may be the surface of a downward-tending lutulant reality? Or, on the contrary, anyone so is there inilluminated as not to perceive that, as no nature's boon can contend against the bounty of increase, so it behoves every most just citizen to become the exhortator and admonisher of assemblables, and to tremble lest what had in the past been by the nation excellently commenced might be in the future not with similar excellence accomplished, if an inverecund habit shall have gradually traduced the honourable by ancestors transmitted customs to that thither of profundity, that one was audacious excessively who would have the hardihood to rise affirming that no more odious offence can for any one be, than to, oblivious, neglect to consign that evangel simultaneously command and promise, which on all mortals with prophecy of abundance, or with diminution's menace, that exalted of reiteratedly procreating function, ever irrevocably enjoined. It is not why, therefore, we shall wonder if, as the best historians relate, among the Celts, who nothing that was not in its nature admirable admired, the art of medicine shall have been highly honoured. Not to speak of hostels, leper yards, sweating chambers, plague graves, their greatest doctors, the O'Shiels, the O'Hickeys, the O'Lees, have sedulously set down the divers methods by which the sick and the relapsed found again health, whether the malady had been the trembling withering or loose boyconnell flux. Certainly in every public work, which in it anything of gravity contains, preparation should be with importance commensurate, and therefore a plan was by them adopted, whether by having preconsidered, or as the maturation of experience, it is difficult in being said, which the discrepant opinions of subsequent inquirers are not, up to the present, congrued to render manifest, whereby maternity was so far from all accident possibility removed, that whatever care the patient, in that all hardest of woman hour chiefly required, and not solely for the copiously opulent, but also for her who, not being sufficiently moneyed, scarcely, and often not even scarcely, could subsist valiantly, and for an inconsiderable emolument was provided. To her nothing already, then and thenceforward, was anywhere able to be molestful, for this chiefly felt all citizens, except with proliferant mothers prosperity at all, not to can be, and as they had received eternity, God's mortal's generation to befit them, her beholding, when the case was so having itself parturient in vehicle thereward carrying desire immense among all one another, was impelling on of her to be received into that domicile. O thing of prudent nation, not merely in being seen, but also even in being related worthy of being, praised that they her by anticipation went seeing mother, that she by them, suddenly to be about to be cherished, had been begun, she felt. Before born, babe bliss had, within womb one he worship. Whatever in that one case done, commodiously done was. A couch by midwives attended, with wholesome food, reposeful. Cleanness waddles, as though forth-bringing were now done, and by wise foresight set. But to this no less of what drugs there is need, and surgical implements which are pertaining to her case, not omitting aspect of all very distracting spectacles in various latitudes by our terrestrial orb offered, together with images divine and human, the cogitation of which by sedjunct females is to tumescence conducive, or eases issue in the high, sun-bright, well-built fair home of mothers, when, ostensibly far gone and reproductive, it is come by her thereto to lie in, her term up. Some man that wayfaring was stood by house door at night's oncoming. Of Israel's folk was that man, that on earth wandering far had fared. Stark wrath of man, his errand that him